A very good morning to you all. How are you doing? So we've got a new video today and it's quite an important topic, I do feel. So we're just off to the shop this morning. I've got 2 days off. I've got 2 days off today. We're just off to Morrison's to get some little bits and pieces just to top up the fridge, such as lemon, because I like my lemon and water in the morning, and just other little bits and pieces that we need to get. My daughter's got a really bad cough at the moment, so we need to get some cough medicine for her as well. So yeah, just pop into Morrison's, get some bits and bobs, and then we'll come home and then get straight to it, because personally I think it's a video that you need to watch, and I do believe that if you're a young driver you need to stay tuned as well. So yeah, let's see how we get on. The struggles of young truck drivers in 2025 and beyond on that case, and in that case as well. This is what we're going to talk about today. I think it's a massively important topic because the amount of young drivers, including myself, because I do relatively class myself as a relatively young driver. I got my licence at the age of 37 years old, which I would say is still quite young. I'm now 41. I've had my licence 4 years now. 4 years I've been driving. So I don't claim to be an expert. I don't claim to be putting the world to rights here on this topic. And I'm not having a go or having a pop at any sort of young driver out there coming into the industry. And I'm certainly not discouraging any young driver who wants to get their HGV license and become a trucker, a HGV driver, as a career as well. Because although I will be honest on my videos based on my own experiences, I'll also be very transparent and also say that it is a very rewarding industry to be involved with if you really make something of it. And I do believe that when you come into this industry as a young driver, it's what you make of it as well. When I was driving, or when I'm still driving, but when I was tramping, for example, everything was based on what I made of it. If I wake up in a bad mood and I don't want to be doing the job, the rest of my day will plan out to be that way. And then it takes one individual, such as a planner, such as your manager, anyone from the transport office to really, or even a customer in fact, to ruin your day. And that's it, enough's enough. I want to talk about this topic because I get questions on social media, and I'm going to put some comments up on the screen that I've received, if I can. But I do get young drivers contacting me on social media asking me how I did X, Y, and Z. What did I take with me? Is it something I would recommend a young driver at the age of 28, for example, go into? I've even had 22-year-olds message me saying, I'm thinking about doing my HGV licence. Is it worth me doing it at the age of 22 years old? So there's a sort of mixed bundle of questions, and from young drivers from different ages who have been contacting me on my social media platforms asking me these questions. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit the notifications bell so you're notified when videos go live as and when. Also, I've opened a new TikTok channel as well now. Not really much of a big TikTok fan, but I've decided to take the plunge and spread my message on a more broader platform, if you like, on TikTok. I thought I'd test it on the first few videos, and just one video alone has got over 12,000 views in less than 24 hours. So it certainly is a very good platform to be on. So I've decided to join TikTok. Below will be my TikTok address. Go and check it out, guys. Billy HGV UK. Young drivers, and let's basically give you my personal point of view on why young truck drivers struggle in 2025 and will struggle beyond 2025 into 2026, 2027, and for many years ahead in this industry. And why I think young truck drivers do not last very long in this industry as well. Now, like I say, I class myself as a young truck driver, so I'm still doing it, although I've had, I left my last job and I had a lot of discrepancy and sort of backlashes from individuals on I couldn't hack the industry, I couldn't hack tramping, I couldn't hack the job, that's why I left. Oh, he wouldn't last 12 months. I knew he wouldn't last 12 months, not even 5 years. Well, I'm sorry to say, I'm still in the industry because I actually really enjoy what I do for a living. I have a great passion for the industry and I'm now spreading my word. And hey, who knows what the future holds. So, young truck drivers, why are they struggling? Why are they struggling, and why don't they want to come into the industry? And if they do come into the industry, how long are they sticking around for? If you're a young truck driver yourself and you're struggling, whether you're in the industry, you've left the industry, whatever it may be, comment below. We want to hear your feedback. Hear your feedback on why you left the industry, why you're thinking about maybe leaving the industry, what the challenges and pitfalls you've had as a young truck driver, and why you're thinking about not even bothering. But I'll give you my views. I personally think that, now, rewinding back to me, because everything's based on what I experience. I joined the industry because it wasn't mainly because of the money. Driving trucks was something I truly wanted to do since day one. From a young age, little boy, I've always collected lorries and, pretend to be a lorry driver or a car driver. I've always enjoyed driving, I had a passion for it. But I've never had the money or the funds to actually go ahead and get my driving licence, which for a Class 1 and Class 2 licence, about £3,500, £4,000. I've never really just had that money to go, there you go, I'll go to the bank, draw the money out, or get my card and go bang. I've never wanted to get myself in debt on credit cards and stuff like that just to pay for my licences as well, so I won't do that. Although I can, I don't believe in it, I don't believe in doing it. Although a lot of people do that. An opportunity came up for me with a boot camp back in 2021, when I had the chance to, when it was made aware to me at a wedding from a friend called Adam. God bless his soul. Adam died in a car crash recently on the A249, not far from where I live, on the way down to Sheerness. If you're a driver and you know it yourself, he was involved in a fatal car accident about 10 p.m. at night and was in a coma for about a month and didn't make it. So, thoughts go out to him and his family, because I only found out a few weeks ago when my wife went to a kid's birthday party. I knew absolutely nothing about it. And I was absolutely shocked. I'm still shocked today. But Adam was someone that introduced me to the mainstream group HGV bootcamp training. And I applied for it. And I a bit of a choke there, guys. Sorry, I was coughing there. And I made some inquiries, found out a bit more information about the boot camp, and I actually managed to get my Class 1 and Class 2 licence funded through the government scheme. So I managed to save £3,500, £4,000 on getting my licences, and even to today, I'm very grateful and really grateful that I was given the opportunity to get my licences, and it cost me absolutely nothing. Now, the only thing it cost me was fuel to get to my training provider in Sittingbourne, and pay for my hotel for the week. I didn't even go home every night. I stayed in a hotel for 5 days that week, just to stay completely focused on the job at hand, and to ensure that I passed. I passed, and happy days. I got my licence. I had 2 minors, I think it was, on 1 or 2 minors on my driving test, and I managed to pass with flying colours on my I can't remember the exact date it was now, but it's back end of 2021. And I got involved with the industry. Cut long story short, I got involved with the industry because I wanted to be a lorry driver. I wanted to travel. I was an MX military. I wanted to travel the world as an ex-military soldier. I did do that, not to holiday resorts, but to more less nicer places, should we say, on tour. And I became a lorry driver because I wanted to travel the country, wanted to see more of the country, the continent, etc., etc. I even thought about becoming a continental driver as well. Anyway, cut long story short, I've been tramping for a few years now with one company. I won't go into ins and outs of the whole story because if you've watched my videos for a while, you'll know what I mean, or go back and watch the videos, no problem. They're on the channel. And I got involved with the industry because I wanted to drive a lorry. I've got a passion for them. I love the look of them. I love driving big rigs. The money side of things was looking okay. But the big reason why I joined and the big reason why I got my licenses is more about stability and long-term stability than anything else. There's always going to be trucks on the road, regardless. And you'll never be out of a job if you have a job, of course. Now, yes, there is a shortage of drivers in this country. I do truly believe that's true. Although we do have a high volume of drivers coming into the industry, training providers, training drivers, younger drivers to come in and to fill these gaps for drivers that are maybe in their 60s and 70s, retirement age, and they're just basically filtering them through to replace these jobs. The industry has changed massively through the years, especially since I've been driving. I do believe it's changed massively. And the big problem I do find is younger drivers, number one, are being misled into the industry. And I'm going to give you an example. I did post this on my Facebook group the other day. We're getting younger and younger female models or female, women who are glammed up, who are basically making the industry look very glamorous. So they're showing you the glamour side of things, but they're not really showing you the pitfalls and the realistic side of the industry as well. So first and foremost, we've got younger generational drivers looking at these adverts on social media, on TikTok, on Instagram, of really hot chicks who have been paid to stand in front of a truck and look glamorous, or sit behind the steering wheel, close their curtains and look glamorous, to basically attract the younger generation into the industry, because the industry has a massive demographic, shall we say, an age problem. There's not enough younger drivers in the industry, and so many drivers are at retirement age. They're struggling to fill the gaps. That's what I truly do believe. And I've done videos on driver shortage in the past. Have a look at them videos. I'll put them above and below. Have a look. But so a lot of companies are paying people to do this. Now, when you see those on TikTok, on social media, basically looking glamorous, don't think for a second they're all truck drivers, because they're not. And secondly, very few of them are, but it's all designed to draw you into the industry. And that's something I disagree with, because young drivers will see this and will think it's glamorous, but when the going gets tough, they join, they realise the training's difficult for a start, especially on a class 1. The amount of responsibility you have as a young driver driving a heavy goods vehicle with maybe over £200,000 worth of kit on the back, and you've got this huge machine you've got to drive, reverse, everyone watching you, the pressure is up there half the time. And everything comes through experience. But not just that, you've got insurance purposes as well. If anything goes wrong and you're a young truck driver, the company really can take a massive hit on this as well. So this is why companies don't take on young drivers under 25 as well, because of insurance reasons. But that's one thing. We're talking the glamour side. So you've got young drivers that come in, they're misled, and they look around themselves and go, well, this is not what was put in front of me when I saw it on TikTok, or I saw it on an advert, or saw this glamour model. No. So the whole idea behind this is to attract, a lot of the time, not all the time, there are great female drivers out there that are very successful. And in fact, there's a few vloggers out there as well doing very well for themselves. So I'm not pinpointing everyone here, but there's a high percentage of this happening, and I'm seeing it more and more, and I'm sure you are too. But But a young driver will come and say, this is not what I expected. So let's move on to the wages. The wages, for example. Another thing, young drivers are seeing salaries. I'm going to give you an example, and we'll round this off to a ballpoint. Earn £50,000 as a HGV Class 1 driver. £50,000. Up to £50,000. This is just an example. Okay, you can earn a lot less, but you can certainly earn more as well. They're seeing that going, great. The hourly rate is not explained, because if a company explains the hourly rate, you're not going to take any interest in it whatsoever, especially as an experienced driver, considering you know the industry and you know how much work you've got to put into it. You see a salary up to £50,000, you're a newly passed driver, I'm going to apply for that. You apply for it. And lo and behold, you don't realise the sort of amount of hours when you do get the job and go for interview. You don't realise the amount of hours you've actually got to do to earn that much money for a particular company. Example, if you go and be a tramper, I've been a tramper. For me to earn that sort of money, in fact, to earn a bit more than what I did, I'd earned a bit more than that on my previous firm. But for you to earn mid-50s, for example, £50,000 a year, with most firms in this industry, you've got to be maximising your 15-hour days and your 13-hour days, period. In fact, in some cases, you've got to be a tramper as well, sleep in your truck Monday to Friday, and you work for the weekend. Young drivers are not told this, unfortunately, when they join. It's not until week 1, week 2, week 3, it starts to kick in. You get your first salary, monthly paycheck or weekly. You know, a lot of it is weekly in transport. You get your weekly pay and you're like, really? I've worked 65, 70 hours a week for £650, £700 take home? No, thank you. Hello, boss. I want to resign. Yeah, I've given you a day's notice. I'm off on Friday. Cheers. Bye. Another young truck driver gone. Because he's misled on the wages. He's misled because of the amount of fake advertisement and fake glamorous stuff happening in the industry. So they're just a couple of points I want to make. Also, I do believe that young drivers in today's age look at driving as a burden. You look at how busy UK roads are. You need to have a hell of a lot of patience to be a HGV driver. You've got to understand that sitting in traffic is part of the job, that you're not always going to be on time for a job, which can cause stress levels and increase stress levels. You've got to be very, very patient, independent, and a very calm and collective individual to be a HGV driver. Now, some of you drivers who are drivers, are going to have road rage every single day and disagree with what I just said there. But that happens through experience. The longer you spend in the industry, the less patience you tend to have, is what I'm finding. Tell me if I'm wrong. But a young driver in today's age will look at that and go, why would I want to work 60, 65, 70 hours per week and earn £50,000 per year when I can go and do this and go and do that and go and do this and go and do that and work half them hours, or work 40 hours a week or 45 hours a week doing day work and earn the same amount of money? So the point is, if you look at it, if you're a young driver and you look at it from a financial perspective, it's not worth doing. If you want to be a HGV driver and you want to experience travel in the UK, see beautiful parts of the country, maybe be a continental driver if you're given a chance, which is a massively high responsibility job as well. You want to see the world. You want to drive a truck because you've got passion for lorries, you've got passion for trucks. You know, these sort of things. If you've got all that, then you'll be absolutely fine, okay? If you haven't got a family, you haven't got lots of children to think about back at home, does your wife need you around, or your girlfriend need you around, you know, or your boyfriend needs you around for support for whatever reasons, you know, you may have? The point I'm making here is there's so many things that a young truck driver thinks about before taking a job now. More and more young drivers weigh it up and say, it's not worth it. Yeah? So we've got being misled. You get your license, you go into the industry, it's not what it turns out to be. You get told the salary is X, Y, and Z, being misled once again on the income side of things. You join the industry, you get paid your weekly paycheck or monthly paycheck. It's not what it was, it's not what it was promised. Believe me, I've experienced this firsthand myself, so I can speak about it. Another one, there's more to life out there than just being a lorry driver and spending 70 hours a week on the road and not seeing your loved ones, unless you're single, unless you're nearly at retirement age, your kids have grown up, you're divorced, you've got a very strong partner behind you who accepts what you do for a living, which makes all the difference. So we're mainly talking about maybe being away from home more than anything else. But you look at the day work and night work, and more drivers are doing that. I give you an example. I left tramping to go into day work because I got fed up with it. I got fed up working for a company, grafting my arse off and constantly asking me for favours when I wanted to just go home and see my wife and see my beautiful daughter. So eventually what happens is, with the isolation of being on your own so long, over so long periods of time, mental health kicks in, stress levels kick in, unhappiness kicks in. That's what leads to breakdowns and stuff like that, okay? And I was iceberg, tip of the eye. I was just completely near enough off the edge of a breakdown myself. And I had a very mini one myself recently. If you haven't seen the videos, go and take a look. I've done videos on mental health and stuff recently. So thank you for your feedback. But young drivers now don't want to do the job unless there's something bigger in it for them. There's too much around in the 21st century, 2025 and 2026. There's too much social media. There's too much around now. Too many opportunities, so to speak, out there that offer so much more glamour than what the HGV industry does. Now we've got truck fests, which is a very good event to go to. If you're a young driver, go to a truck fest, ask questions. Ask drivers who've got their own companies, they work for a company, ask questions. Them drivers will tell you exactly what it's like. A lot of drivers would be absolutely honest and transparent with you and not give you bullshit. They'll be honest with you about the industry. But when you see all the glamour online, take it as a pinch of salt, because it isn't what you think it is. And too many young drivers are being convinced it is glamorous when deep down, when you've got to graft in this industry, you've got to graft, okay, to make a living. It's a very challenging and competitive industry, and a lot of young drivers just don't want to graft anymore. They don't want to work hard for money. The days of working hard are over. It's all about working smart. And unfortunately, times are changing, and companies have to change with the times or they get left behind. And there have been many companies recently, last 2 years, that have gone down under. Knights of Old was one that went under overnight for a number of financial reasons, of course. I can name a few, but there was quite a few companies that have gone under recently. Big firms that have been around since the 80s, 70s, 90s, collapsed overnight. That's how quick it can happen. The bigger you are, the harder you fall. That's it. So we can go on to a different topic on that another time. But today's video was all about young drivers and, the real struggles of young drivers. And I do think it's important we touch on, when you are a driver, what I do believe a lot of young drivers are missing, and I can relate to this myself, is when you're young and you're away from home for a certain period of time, you start to look at life. You look at the bigger picture and start to think, I'm missing out on X, I'm missing out on Y, I'm missing out on Z, I'm missing out on... There's so many things you can count on both hands that you're missing out on, in fact probably more on both hands, that you're missing out in life because you're a lorry driver and you think it isn't worth it no more. Yeah. So different generations, the times are changing, either change or the times will get left behind. And I know there'll be a lot of more senior drivers in the industry that who have been around a lot longer than me, who will disagree with what I'm recording today. That's fine. I totally respect your opinions. Comment below, let me know what you think. If you can add anything to this video to help the new generation of drivers, younger drivers coming into the industry, then do so. And there'll be a lot of drivers that will say young drivers just can't hack the industry, can't hack the job. They've been brought up with spoons in their mouths, etc. And yes, I'll somewhat agree with that. I'm not going to put myself into that category personally, because I was brought up from raised from a family that have worked absolutely hard since the age of 15. My first job was at the age of 15, 16. I joined the forces, etc., etc. as junior leader. I've grafted since a young age. Nothing's ever been given to me, and everything I have earned and done and achieved in my life has been through hard work, grit and determination. And yeah, there is a lot of people that are brought up with spoons in their mouths and expect it to be put on a plate for them. I won't work for it. But there is a lot of people that are just, they look at life, look at the industry from a different perspective. And I'll end it on this one as well, that in this industry, and I've touched on it, there's a lot of negativity that is going on in the industry as well. There's always someone complaining. And I'll give you an example. I joined my new company recently. I went into work, and the first thing I had when I went to the coffee machine was a driver complaining about how crap the company is, how crap this industry is, and you think to yourself, if you're not happy, go and do something else. If you're not happy, leave. Go and do something else that makes you happy is what I'm trying to say. But on a positive note, the industry needs more young drivers, and the more young drivers that they have into the industry, the more jobs they're going to fill. You're just a bum on a seat is what I'd say. Don't forget that as well. Check out my last video. You're just a bum on a seat. You can be replaced very quickly if you don't like your job. So don't think for a second you're irreplaceable. You're not in any company, any company. But the industry needs more young drivers, and that's basically what I want to end it on. Gone on a bit longer on this video, but I know it's a very important topic. I wanted to bring it to the surface because I do see a lot. I get asked questions, and although I'm not currently doing driving videos, I'm still doing the videos to educate younger drivers out there and to maybe inspire to a degree, but also to be transparent and honest with you based on my own experiences on the road as a driver too. So on that note, thank you for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Be great, look after yourselves, be safe on the road, and I'll see you soon.